I humbly request Brahmachari Achyutamrita Chaitanyaji to hand over the certificate to Swamiji Shankaramrita Nandapuri. I welcome Swamiji to receive the certificate.
Dr. Kumar SK sir with us, Assistant Professor in the University of Transdisciplinary Health Science and Technology, Bangalore. He holds MD degree in Ayurveda Pharmacology and postgraduate diploma in clinical research from Cranfield University, UK, and postgraduate diploma in One Health from Kerala Veterinary and Animal Science University. He is currently pursuing PhD in the University of Transdisciplinary Health Science and Technology. He is having 13 years of teaching experience for undergraduates and postgraduates of Ayurveda. He is pioneer in Vṛkṣāyurveda and he is having 17 publications in national and international journals. He has organized 5 international conferences on veterinary Ayurveda and 17 years of experience in authentic Ayurveda practice. With due respect, let me welcome Dr. Kumar SK to give a lecture on the topic Pasvayurveda and Vrukshayurveda. In this lecture, he will be covering the following key points: plant science and animal science in ancient Ayurveda, text and traditions of Vṛkṣāyurveda and Paśuāyurveda, contemporary relevance of Vṛkṣāyurveda and Paśuāyurveda. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for briefing me. Am I audible without mic? Thank you. I would like to thank Ram Manohar sir and team. Yeah, I can go with that. It's better. And Amrita University for giving an opportunity to be here to deliver the lecture on Pasvayurveda and Vrukshayurveda. I'm Dr. Kumar here. I'm an Ayurveda doctor, graduated from Ayurveda College, Bangalore Government Ayurveda Medical College, and Masters in Ayurveda Pharmacology. And last 15 years, I'm working in Paśuāyurveda. Few. It can be a domestic or it can be, pet animals. Both, I'm asking. Only few. Okay. So if you have animals, then how do you go with that? Like, nutrition, management, health, everything is part of it. How do you go with that? No idea. So we all live together, but we don't have much idea that because completely we have given that sector to the veterinarians. How many of you have veterinarian friends in your circle? One. Well, how do you discuss those issues with your veterinarians? Will they answer you? Very good. So I'm going to discuss next 1 hour and so about like what is Paśuāyurveda, why we need that Paśuāyurveda, what I'm going to deliver, what are the global issues to talk, what are the Indian issues to talk. And since last 15 years I'm working in the university setup to bring or address the gap between modern and the Shastra. That is what this program is all about. Why we need to bring IKS, Indian knowledge system, to the other sector, it's a question for all of us, but still there is a lot of scope in that. Until unless we don't do that, I don't think so we can reach and we can address the global problem. So yeah, today's lecture on Paśuāyurveda and Vrukṣāyurveda. I'm not an expert of Vrukṣāyurveda, just I'm going to brief you on that, but we have worked for Paśuāyurveda. So the content is very clear: animal science and plant sciences in ancient India. Why should we know those things? Then text and traditions, is it enough for us? Then text and traditions of Vrukṣāyurveda as well, and contemporary relevance. What exactly the contemporary relevance? How many of you use mobile phones? I think no one is devoid of it in this hall. Why we are using mobile? As sir was telling very clearly how much we are being addicted. Without mobile, I think we don't get sleep if you lose a mobile in the late evenings. So when we know the importance of mobile, people started using. How best you can communicate with your members, how best you can get the knowledge at different levels. So we are into mobiles or system. But what is the contemporary relevance of Paśuāyurveda, Vrukṣāyurveda? Many of may not be knowing. Why we need to get into the age-old system like Paśuāyurveda. Those things I would like to discuss first. Then I'll come back to that. What are the traditions and the practices across? You are all depending on animal products. How many of you eat animal products? Raise your hands. It can be a milk, it can be a meat. Vegetarians, non-vegetarians, everybody is depending on animal products. Do you know from where it is coming? Recently we were interacting with the Singaporean faculties. Frankly to say, Singaporeans don't know from where the milk is coming. Even they have not seen animals. We want to show, or they are asking us to, can you show the cow for us to see that from where the milk is coming? To say that to the extent we have not addressing or understanding that from where the milk is coming and which type of milk we are taking every day and which breed milk we are taking, we are not aware. Have you questioned your dairy sector that which type of breed milk you are procuring and giving us? No. Have you any idea on that? Which breed milk you are taking every day? No. You need to know. Then you will understand. As sir was telling, in the human sector or animal sector, stress is the biggest factor which is leading to diseases. Same is happening in animal sector. High incidence of diseases because every farmer wants to produce more milk. Why he has to produce more milk? Because it is a livelihood for him. Until unless if he is not producing, he may not able to live with the animal sector. So because of the pressure and the stress creating by ourselves, so a lot of diseases being incident as or as a part of animal health. So because of that, what we are going to do, if the diseases are more, what we do? We use drugs, manage. It's a mandate, na? If someone is suffering at home, we have to treat them or treat him. Otherwise, he will be suffering. Similar, it's happening with the animal sector. Because of the pressure, incidence more. Because of the incidence, treating. What we are treating? We are treating with antibiotics and other synthetic drugs. Because of that, excessive usage of the drug, all the drug material is leaching into the milk and we are getting either it can be leaching to the milk or it can be in a dung or urine. If it go to dung or urine, it will go to the soil. If it come in the milk, it will come to whom? For human. Is it not? It will come to human. What happens if we take every day milk with the drugs? We are taking drugs indirectly. When we are succumb to disease, if you treat with the drug, drugs will not work. So they say that drug failure. It is not the management failure. It is a drug failure you might have seen or experienced during COVID times. That was the best example for us to learn from that and look for the next steps. So this is the first contemporary relevance to understand why we need to have Paśuāyurveda. I think you are following. My session will be interactive session. I am not going to deliver the things. If you don't answer, I will stop here. Are you following what I am saying right now? Have you got the message? Have you got the message to say what the problem is all about? Because of the more production, we are creating the stress. Because of the stress, diseases. Because of the diseases, drugs. Because of the drugs, everything is coming in the animal products. Because of that, we are at trouble. To the extent, antimicrobial resistance. If you go to farmer, last 15 years, I think I moved across all the states of India. You go to any farmer, even including Kerala farmer, many of our farmers don't let the animals to go for grazing. Do you know that? Because they say that they don't have place, they don't have time. Every time they tie the animal at one place and they milk like anything. What will be the stress level to the animal? Imagine if whole day, if somebody is taking class for you in this hall, how will be you at the end of the day? You have so many breaks, coffee break, lunch break, this break, that break, but still lot of stress within us, is it not? Sitting in a hazy hall, but still we feel so much of stress. Imagine an animal born there, brought up there, dying there for more than 8 to 10 years. What will be the stress level for that animal? This is the real picture in Indian context to say we never let animal to go for grazing. 80% of our husbandry is like this. You go and interact with the farmers. That is the biggest stress for the animals. Because of that, lot of incidence of the diseases, because of the lot of drugs, because of the drugs, we are at trouble. That is what the contemporary relevance of understanding why we need Paśuāyurveda today. So this is what happening in the veterinary sector. You please openly talk to your veterinary friends and ask how well you are able to go without drug for any animal disease. Can they do? No, not at all, because they have been trained like that. If animal is sick, give drug. Because even for ourselves, if you are sick, if I say as Ayurveda doctor to take rest for 3 days, we say we don't have time, sir. Please prescribe something. I can be, I should be ready by tomorrow morning because I have to go for work. I don't have leave. So imagine in case of animals, every farmer want to animal be ready by tomorrow. Is that the same? Can it be reversed within a day? Not at all. To establish a disease, what we call etiopathogenesis of a disease, it will take so much time, including incubation period. The same is going to happen when we want to reverse the disease. It's not overnight, but every farmer wants animal to be ready by tomorrow, and my milk should not go down. Today I am pouring 10 liters, tomorrow also I should pour 10 liter. What for that what farmer will do? He will bring veterinarian will treat. If it is not working, again he will change the veterinarian by tomorrow. Whose fault is this now? Is the veterinarian fault or the farmer fault? It's not, it's livelihood. That we need to understand more. So if you go with that, you can see how drug is moving across every day within us. You cannot imagine, not even a single place you can find drug free. One of the microbiologists from Veterinary College, Hebbal, one of the renowned college in Karnataka for veterinary science, has done 4 years work under RKVY project. RKVY is one of the sector under ministry. They want to do more research on agriculture and veterinary sector. 4 years extensive work, and he has collected more than 4,000 samples from animals and the soil, and he has seen out of 43 antibiotics using in Bangalore in and around, 38 become resistant. How many antibiotics they are using? 43 commonly they are using. Government procure that, and he has taken the sample of soil, fodder, cow urine, cow dung, cow milk, cow blood, and he has estimated that what is the status of sensitivity for those 43 antibiotics. Out of 43, 38 become resistant, but all the 43 are in use. Who has to answer for this? Is it a government or the veterinarian? If you ask a veterinarian, they say that government has given, I am using. If you ask a farmer, my animal has to be ready by tomorrow. Who has to question now? Consumers. Consumer neither have an idea nor the information. This is the fact, and everything is going to the soil. This gives a clear idea, but even veterinarians, policymaker, everybody is aware, but none of them can have an idea that what should be the alternative. What should be the alternative? That's a question. Then what is antibiotic resistance? Because when you understand what exactly the antibiotic is all about, then you will understand what is resistance. It is been, clear-cut understanding on how to use, when to use, and where to use, explained by the renowned pharmacologist when they come with the antibiotics. But while studying pharmacology, you will be knowing, when you get into the medicine, you will forget everything. This is a literal practical problem we face between pharmacology and the medicine. You ask any pharmacologist, they say, no, don't touch any drug, because every drug is having side effects, or it can be a resistant. But when you become a medicine professor, without the medicine, what they have to do? If they train their students without the medicine, will they follow the teacher? No students will follow the teacher. So that is how excess use or abuse as leading to antimicrobial resistance. It's not Indian problem, it is a global problem. So you cannot estimate. See, antimicrobial resistance in 2050, how many years from now? Long way to go. You may be thinking, I will not be there. Someone will not be there. It is not a problem of mine. Whose problem? Who has to answer? 2050 already estimated that death toll will be more than 10 million globally, not just because of the failure, it is because of the resistance created by abuse of antibiotics by ourselves. Predictions already going on. But what are the answers for it? Who has to answer? That's all we'll learn now. See this, by 2050, what is the economic loss? What is the mortality? What is the morbidity? Just because that we are not aware about something called drug. How many of you take antibiotic by the counter? You can answer now, because it's a part of parcel of our practices. You go to any pharmacy, you go to any medical shop, easily you can say take 4th generation cephalosporins. You have any idea that what is 4th generation cephalosporins? It has to be used only in ICU patients. Where it has to be used? Only in ICU patients. But that is being sold in our market like a peppermint. Humans also consuming same cephalosporins. WHO in the year 2018 clearly mentioned it should not be used in animals. And they have made a core committee globally to monitor in every country whether they are using cephalosporins 4th generation for animal treatment. But still we are not in a position to say, are we using or not? India also made a committee, they are working, but we don't have a data on that to say that whether it's been used or not. So that is what, so you can see how much loss we are going to create just because of abuse of drugs like anything. This is a data of around 2013-14, almost 10 years old, where the antibiotics being put, like, tertiary care hospitals, secondary care hospitals, primary care, others unknown. This is not from India. We don't have these type of data so far. It is from UK. The reason for that, because we have given enough license for our pharmacists to sell antibiotics. Have you been to Europe or any other Western countries? US? Recently I got a call from Western, like US. She's suffering with the pain abdomen for 4 days, but none of the hospital has taken and admitted, given drug for antispasmodics. Literally she has come back to India now. What is the reason? They are telling, until unless special physician prescribe, then only you can take. We don't admit until they say. She's having literally pain. I'm just giving an example. Until unless specialization is not being addressed, nobody can take a drug there, such countries. They are monitored well. You know Holland? It's in Europe. How big is the country? I think it's bigger than Kerala, smaller than Karnataka. Even not, at least in 6 hours, you can move whole country and you can reach Germany. How small then? Country is small, the population is high in terms of animal. They have monitoring every drug used in every dairy farm by a veterinarian farmer, everything, the country is having the data. That means wherever the drug is going, whoever using, which antibiotic, everything is being recorded. That means they have clear data in understanding whether it's a use or abuse. We need to differentiate between use and abuse. Are we using mobile or abusing? This is what we are not in a position to say whether we are using or abusing. So this is data from UK that will give a clear idea for us to take a call on Indian sector to understand, do we need to generate this type of data or not. Then see, what is that antibiotic use or misuse? Ayurveda clearly talks about when Vyadhi comes, the disease, it can be a Prajnaparada. What is Prajnaparada? You know, I should not do this, but still you will be doing. That is called as Prajnaparada. Then Ayurveda talks about Asatmendriya, Samyoga, Asatmendriya, Artha Samyoga, that is one of the cause for disease. Then it talks on Parinama or the Kala, the season is responsible for disease. The same principles explained in Ayurveda holds good for misuse of antibiotics. See the percentage. How people eat antibiotic like anything, 50%, 70%, 53%, 47, 6 to 7%. Whenever you take next time onwards antibiotic, you should know, why should I take? It's really need, who has prescribed, whether a specialized general practitioner or pharmacist, we should know, then only we should take. So this gives an idea that how antibiotics being misused globally, particularly country like India. Then what it leads? Absolutely it is leading to AMR, the death, the toll. You know, many times what we do when patient is sick, we start treating at home. Then if it is not working, if it is not helping, then what we'll do, we'll make an admission to the hospital nearby. It can be primary care, it can be a secondary care, or it can be a tertiary care. Then over the days, 1 week, 2 weeks, if patient is not responding, what the doctor will say for us? He is not responding and his systems are not at properly placed. So we need to have admission to ICU. Then he will be there for some days. Drug load will be happening. Then we will lose the patient. At the end they will say, we tried our best, that is not helped us. The reason for such instances is happening, the death at ICU, not just because that the drug has failed there, that is already we have done lot of circus before that. This circus is not being recorded, this circus is not being noted or not addressed. Where it is going, where it is misusing, those things we need to understand. Already by the time patient admit to the hospital, the resistance has developed and drug is not helping, the combinations are changing. Then at last we have only set of drugs within our hand. So if it is not worked, then we think that failure of the drugs. Do you aware that when was the last antibiotic has come to the market? It's not less than 20 years. Early 90s, 96, 97 was the last antibiotic cephalosporin, 4th generation. Only we are doing modification of the compounds. That means we are not entering into bringing a new drug for a new type of disease or existing disease. So we are going with the, new wine with the old bottle. The concept, same modification of the antibiotics, we are bringing changes and we are using not the new antibiotics coming to the market. That is also one of the threat for all of us to say human health, because no new antibiotic in market. So what is that? India today, long back, early 2012, it is being told that your antibiotic is sick, don't eat antibiotic. Then what we have to do? What we have to eat? It's a question, is it not? All of us, since 3 days I'm having sore throat, cold, cough, what I can do as an Ayurveda doctor, I have to try with lot of combinations of Ayurveda medicine, until unless if I am not able to do for myself, how can I expect for the other patients to do? Am I right? So same. So then FAO, the Organization for Food, Global Organization, OIE, Organization for Animal Health, then WHO, Organization for Human Health. These are the 3 pillars globally working for health and benefit of a humankind, animal kind, environment, everything. They have come together to understand what is the problem. Where is the problem? Who has to answer? For example, I am an Ayurveda doctor. If I talk much more on the veterinary sector, veterinarians are not happy at all. They resist. Why Ayurveda people are coming? We have our own sector. We have our own environment. We are here to do. We have done enough research. We can take care. Why these people are talking? Similar, WHO, OIE, FAO separately working. They never interact. But now they have come together to bring awareness on the professionals and the sector to say what you have to do for next 10 years, 20 years. They have made a roadmap. Every country. Do we aware that? Not necessarily. So in that regard, they started working together since 2012 to say that where is the problem, how to address the problem, what are the alternatives. You will astonish, they are since 2012, almost 12 years now, still they are working on the problem, then never look into the solution. What is the difference of identifying a problem and finding a solution? You know the problem. Sitting in that AC room, you may get respiratory distress. Until unless if you don't find solution for that, then what is the fun in identifying a problem? Still they are working in identifying the problem, but they are not come to a position to say what are the alternative solutions for that. I think Paśuāyurveda and Vrukshayurveda can be one of the leading solution for their identified problems. That's all I can say. But still they don't believe Ayurveda is a science. That's the biggest drawback to say. But recently, last year, WHO has taken a lead step in bringing people working on alternative system of medicine, and they given a center of excellence for India in Jamnagar. They do 2 days conclave on bringing experts on that. This is the biggest step to say, because they have identified the problem. Now they want to come with the solution. So I'll go with one small video. Then I think you will understand more. Are you following? Again and again I'm asking. If you have any queries, you can stop me and ask. Until unless if you don't understand, I don't think so you will understand Paśuāyurveda and Vrukshāyurveda. We need to know more what is the problem actually. Then we can look for a solution. Is it not? So I'll show you the video now. Yes.
It's 1928 and a Petri dish left next to an open window is about to revolutionise modern medicine. Scottish scientist Alexander Fleming finds that something in the mould growing in the dish is killing off bacteria. It's penicillin, the first antibiotic. This wonder drug and other antibiotics will go on to treat the untreatable, saving millions of lives. It's 2050. The cupboard is bare. Antibiotics were our precious resource. We needed to use them, of course we did, but we weren't prudent. Because each time we used them, misused them, and overused them, we gave the bacteria a chance to evolve, to become resistant. And without global leadership, scientists have been unable to bring new antibiotics to market. Now even cuts have fatal consequences. Has the clock really been ticking towards a post-antibiotic future, where drug-resistant infections kill 10 million people a year, where chemotherapy is unsafe, where simple surgeries are too risky to perform, where the world's biggest child killer, pneumonia, is now unstoppable? Is this just a projection? "2020, climate change is headline news. Forests burn. Scientists predict rising sea levels. There is a sense that time for action is running out. And then comes COVID. It's a fast-moving pandemic, 1 million dead and counting. But the world mobilizes with urgency. Individuals, doctors, scientists, yes. Governments and policymakers too. The unthinkable becomes the norm. Cities, countries under lockdown, economies radically reshaped, vaccines developed in record time. And against this backdrop, a chance to change the narrative on that other looming global catastrophe, the one we already know about, antibiotic resistance. Because everyone sees now we can mobilize, we can take individual and collective responsibility, and we must be prepared. It's 1945. The Allied victory, that was a collective effort too. During World War II, penicillin has been mass-produced, used to treat soldiers' septic wounds, hailed as a victory of science over death. But as he collects his Nobel Prize, Fleming is already issuing a warning. Misusing antibiotics can hasten the evolution of drug-resistant bacteria and render them useless for future generations. Here's how it works with E. coli in a giant Petri dish. The E. coli bacteria hit a line of antibiotic and pause, until a random mutation enables the bacteria to overcome the drug. At each line, the antibiotic is 10 times more concentrated, but there are also more mutations. It's evolution by natural selection, only very, very fast. We live in a Petri dish too. The bacteria are part of our ecosystem, around us, within us, trillions upon trillions, helpful as well as harmful. And resistance is natural, to be expected. But by increased misuse, we only encouraged the mutations. We overprescribed, of course we did. Medicine is not an exact science. Diagnosis is difficult. And people expect to be cured. In some parts of the world, antibiotics don't even need a prescription at all. They're over the counter or at the back of the drawer. But against viral coughs, colds, and sore throats, they're useless. Worse than useless. We give them to our farm animals too. We want to prevent infection. We want to plump our food. We want cheap meat. It's the 1980s. This is the start of the discovery void. For more than 30 years, no new classes of antibiotics will be launched. Why? Follow the money, and it runs out. Big Pharma has no incentive to invest in the development of antibiotics. There's no profit. It's expensive, time-consuming and complex, and single-use. While antidepressants and heart drugs, they make money on repeat. Meanwhile, controls designed to limit the inappropriate use of antibiotics also limit financial incentives for making them. It's 2020, the here and now, and we have some of the answers. Preventing infections with better hygiene and vaccines. We can repackage existing antibiotics to make them resistance-proof, or use phage therapy to attack the bacteria with viruses. And in the future, AI could lead to more accurate diagnoses. Surely new antibiotics must be part of the answer too. Funding agreements can give the bigger companies the financial incentive. Partnerships can give smaller companies access to resources. And what about delinking volume from profit? Concentrating not on the number of pills, but their value. Paying companies not for how much antibiotic they provide, but its potential worth to the health system. Something like a subscription. something like insurance. The building is catching fire. The edifice is crumbling. The cupboard is running bare. Already, antibiotic resistance is killing 700,000 people a year. In some ways, COVID has made the problem worse. Fears about secondary infections mean large quantities of antibiotics have been prescribed to patients. But COVID could help make things better too, if it motivates us, if the world mobilizes, individuals, doctors, scientists, yes, governments and policymakers too. The solutions are scientific, but they're also economic, and they are societal. It's a collective effort. It's not a projection, it's not a sort of an imaginary projection that it's going to get worse. We know that's going to happen. And because we know that it's going to happen, we actually also know how we can slow it down. You realise that actually all those things that you prepare for, it's so that you've got it there when you need it. Everyone has their part to play. The point is we do have the opportunity to do something about it.
Well, I hope you followed what exactly the videos plan to narrate. You know, initially it shows that so many patients are admitted in the hospital and they were dying like anything. The name has been erased. Either only two ways they can erase the name from the board. One is recovered and went out of the hospital or died. Is it not? So then they got to know that what is the problem. Then they started giving a history that from where the, first the antibiotic to called as a penicillin, how they celebrated during the war time, bringing one antibiotic to save the lives. So they celebrated, but again the celebrations is not so long to say. That's what she want to narrate. So again we may have the same repeat. It can happen for all of us. Then people are dying and whole hospital or healthcare sector going to collapse if you are not taken care now, today. So that's what she want to narrate. At the end she is telling no antibiotic is going to come until unless if you don't preserve or protect those antibiotics which are in the practice. So how it is being misused, last 40 years, that we need to understand more than what are the alternatives to have for that. So again it is playing. Can you help me? Yeah. Now, yeah, I'll go with that. I hope I'm making some sense for you to understand more on the subject. So bringing back that, what is the contemporary relevance? No. Yes. How do we address this AMR challenge? Are we enough with the stuff within ourselves? Has this context of having 2 days of faculty empowerment or awareness on India's medical heritage, that can be an answer for these type of global issues. Either it can be a Paśuāyurveda. Yes, we have enough heritage with us. Have you heard about, Ayurveda treatment for elephants like state like Kerala? Lot of, Ayurveda treatment has been given. Either it can be from the Vaidya side or from the Ayurveda doctor, or even well-learned veterinarians also using Ayurveda medicines for elephants. Well, then ethnoveterinary practices. Our own community-owned practices has been part of India's medical heritage, can be an answer. Because last 15 years I am working in this area with the National Dairy Development Board, Government of India, Ministry of Animal Health, and we have come with the solution in such a way that what we have done for last 15 years is going to be part of BVSC curriculum. What else you need? Government has approved that, VC has confirmed that the next academics onwards, veterinarian who is going to join for BVSC, Bachelor of Veterinary Medicine, they're going to study the gist of Paśuāyurveda and the concepts of Ayurveda from first year to fourth year, so that they can understand more on the side of the issues, then they can come with the solution. Okay, so with the last 15 years of experience, when we talk with the veterinary university vice chancellors, directors, everybody says we don't know Ayurveda or Paśuāyurveda. We have not come across, we have not seen. Then we started questioning why. Country like India, you have been born, brought up here, we have the legacy, we have the heritage, but still we are not aware what has been practiced earlier before the allopath or allopathy system. Then they started, no, it's not our duty. Ministry of Ayush has to take care. See, if you start thinking like a prejudiced way of scientific, or scientist, then who is going to answer? The problem solution. So we need to work. So I mean to say, both are very well valid solutions for our biggest problem, AMR challenge. Then you can see how traditional medicines has been placed as a contemporary relevance in addressing the global issue. Epistemologically, rotation of the wheel, if you see, then this history will help us to understand by 2050, people will start telling that antibiotic can be an artificial, it won't help anymore for human or animal, rather we need to go traditional practices to save ourselves. That is what the wheel is rotating again and again within ourselves. We started using the herb or a root, then we are coming again back because no synthetic drugs can save, because the molecules what we have derived. As a pharmacologist, I'll tell you, more you go for a characterization, more you going a synthesize, nowhere it's going to help. As a crude, as a raw drug, we need to work, because we work with a veterinary pharmacologist. They are the, forefront scientists working in the lab. They say that, no, it is not the way. We have misleaded for long years. They are openly telling now with addressing these type of, challenges. Then I think Ram sir will going to talk more on the various streams of medicine in his lecture. I just want to brief that how India has been placed. We have two streams. One is the codified stream, another is the non-codified. What is the codified? When we have a literature of medicine, which is called as a codified, written by our forefathers of Ayurveda. It can be Ayurveda, it can be a Siddha, it can be a Unani. Whereas non-codified, which is orally, orally transforming from one generation to other generation. Apart from that, we have allied system of medicine, which is being part of, Western we have received. Yoga and naturopathy can be allied. Then also system of foreign origin, it can be allopathy system of medicine. These are the different systems of medicine being placed country like India, but nowhere you come across all together. Only in India you can see codified, foreign origin, allied and non-codified. You can see folk medicine anywhere, even you go to Europe, you can see, you go to US, you can see folk medicine, but they don't have codified system of traditional medicines. They have only allied and they have only foreign origin. Only in India we can find this. When you look into the history of Ayurveda, then we can find three streams of Ayurveda. One is Vṛkṣāyurveda, another is Vṛkṣāyurveda, the third is the Ayurveda for human. In the last 20 years, you go to any university, they have started a concept called as One Health. Do you aware that? One word, one medicine, one health. This is a concept, the newest ways to say that the modern universities have started. That's nothing but human medicine, animal medicine, then the environmental medicine. So that's not the newest thing for us to say from the Ayurveda perspective. It is being told long back, 4,005 years back itself it is told. Ayurveda for animals, Ayurveda for plants, Ayurveda for humans. So altogether, One Health is a whole concept of Ayurveda. It's not new for us. So can we explore that? Can we use that? What is that? Animal science in ancient India. From where it started? If you look into the literatures, then you can find in the Rig Veda it is been told, may we escape poverty by means of cattle. That means cattle has been considered as the prosperity of the every household. If they have a cattle, then they will be knowing the management method. If they have a cattle, they will be knowing how to address the nutritional factors. That is explained in Rig Veda. Then we go to Atharva Veda, as the Ayurveda is the Upaveda, then you can see a wild boar knows the herb which will cure like mangoes. That means animal, they themselves will know how to treat by themselves. If you look into the wild animals, they go and they eat when they are sick. They get rid of the sickness. That is being explained in Atharva Veda. That means from there we have the legacy. We know that it was, but now we have lost just because of ignorance. Then what are the traditions? Even in the Indus Valley civilization, you can see plenty of references of using herbs for animal health and management of animal in a better way than Vedic age, as I mentioned, than in Agni Purana, than Gaum Vansh. Every family will have a name and they have the some cultural practices. So there was a called as a family of cow owners in the early Vedas. They used to have animal at home, they will be called as Gaum Vansh. Such references we can find, and cow culture has been explained in the literatures including Veda and Upavedas. Then epic period, we can find plenty of references from Mahabharata and Ramayana, wherein which we can see lot of herbs has been used for animal health and its management. That means This is not a new science for us. That's been since ages, it is there. Then how to, revitalize, it's a question. And from Mahabharata, you can see Nakula is an expert of equines, which we call it as Pasvayurveda. And you will not believe one lady from Canada. She is with me in Bangalore for 2 weeks. She is an animal scientist from Canada. Now, last 10 years, she is practicing Pasvayurveda for equines. Do you believe? And she see the dosha, Tridoshas, Saptadhatus, Trimalas, the concept of Ayurveda. Based on that, she is making her own formulation for every cases and she is treating. She is from Canada, an animal scientist. What made her to think on these lines? Because she has seen the implications of abuse and overuse of the drug at different levels, and that is not being addressed for equines across. Now she is coming and she is in India to learn more about Ayurveda and to take Ayurveda knowledge to Canada. Just an example to say. Then Sahadeva, a specialist in cattle management, he has written a book called as Vṛkṣāyurveda. So you can see from the epic point of, we have literature references and the management for animal sector and the Ramayana as well. You all know how animal has been taken care during. And Mahabharata, Lord Krishna used to in Mathura, is it not? So many animals. So that is all mythological understanding for ours in epic period. Then Mauryan age, next phase to understand. So you can see there is a word called as Sutannipata, where it is being explained Annada, Vannada and Sukhada. That means if you have a cattle, it will give food for you, Annada. Then if you have a cattle, it will give Vannada, that is the beauty for your home. Then if you have a cattle, Sukhada, you will have happiness. That's a reference given in Mauryan age. From that period it is started understanding that how important to have a cattle at home, what it gives for us. Then Kautilya's Arthashastra has explained using of dry fodder and wet fodder for animal for nutritional purpose. Then Ashoka period, it's called as the best heritage period for animals because he is the first person to construct veterinary hospital, Ashoka, the king Ashoka. So then Samhita period, you look into any Ayurveda Samhita, including Charaka Samhita, Shushruta Samhita, Kashyapa Samhita, every Samhita has explained, use of either animal products in human disease or treating animal diseases using herbs. That is being explained. Then some of the key points explained in Samhita period to understand more, that is disease diagnosis, how Ayurveda expert used to diagnose a disease in animals based on their behavior, animal behavior. Then he has explained a special disease called as Mukhabandha Roga, which we call it as a locked jaw. Even animal may not able to move their jaws. Such diseases being addressed with the help of Ayurveda medicine. Then Sannipata Jvara. You ask any farmer, they struggle literally to treat hemorrhagic septicemia in dairy animals. No drug is helping them. And if once the animal is diagnosed with hemorrhagic septicemia, it is almost gone, animal is going to die. Such a disease management is also explained in the literatures of Ayurveda, which we called as Sannipata Jvara. Then 1481 treatments have explained for 224 cattle diseases in the literature. Then 21 diseases of elephants with 31 treatments. You can next, Guruvayur temple, you might be knowing that elephant cage, a lot of elephants are there in Guruvayur temple. There is a trust called as Guruvayur Trust. We work with them as a course to say Asti Ayurveda they are doing by Ayurveda doctors and the team. They are treating the elephants with the help of Ayurveda. So then 318 treatment for 77 diseases of horse as explained in the literature. That means enough knowledge, enough insight, enough stuff has been explained and given by our literatures, not it's the new for us. One example to say from the classics, if you have a cattle, then you will understand that if cattle, Pashu, even we address within our own kith and kin to say, don't eat like a Pashu. People will be eating like a Pashu. Everything they want to eat. Is it not? That means cattle eat without control. They eat like anything when they see the grass, when they see the fodder. If they eat like that, they will end up with a disease called as a bloat, indigestion and leading to bloat. Lot of gas will accumulate in the rumen because cattle have 4 stomach. We have how many stomach? We are not able to fill 1 stomach. If you have a 4 Then how to fill that? Cattle have 4 stomachs. It's called as a rumen, one after the other. While through the process of transferring the food from one stomach to other, that's a fermentation process. Because of the excess fermentation, there will be a lot of gas will be released. Because of that, that will be bloated. You know, in the modern practice now also, they don't have any proper drug. They do rumenotomy. Rumenotomy means open the rumen, incision, then they release the gas. It's a tedious process. I think in the field it is very hard for a veterinarian to open the rumen and treat the animal. Otherwise within 4 to 5 hours, animal is going to die. You believe it or not, because of bloating. So such a disease, from our literature, it is given Makshikam Saindava Mustam Gomutra. That means a combination of the herbs has been explained. If you give that combination, that bloating will come down from the literature. So that means lot of such diseases management as explained in the literature, and we can go with that. Easily we can treat our animal diseases. Then rasayanas, that is tonics, has been explained to given for animals for preventive care, and kashayas, tailas, gritas, what is every combination or every formulation has been used for animal health management. Then even panchakarma treatment, what you see in human, also explained for animals. Example, Nasya and Bastis has given importance to treat chronic diseases in animals. Then the next one, the disease important to say, lumpy skin disease, LSD it is called. Last 4 years, government of India is struggling like anything to address this disease. Have you come across in Kerala? I think all of you are from Kerala. Anybody from outside Kerala? Which state, sir? Odisha. So the disease, lumpy skin disease, it's a viral disease. It spreads like anything. If one animal is sick with this, then the other animal within no time it spreads, and a viral, like our COVID to say. And what animal goes like, respiratory infection, then the skin infection, and it's not a high mortal disease, it's a high morbid disease, and production will go down because of the disease. Whatever the combination of antivirals, antibiotics, antihistamines, analgesics, antipyretics they use in the modern, they are not able to manage. And at last, Government of India has taken our TDU formulation from Ethno, and they have rampantly given with all the state animal husbandry directorate to say that you please start using this herbal recipe rather than going with the allopathic treatment. So for such a disease, viral and disease, there is a reference from our literature which is being told to make a combination of these and consider that is one type of kushta. Then if you treat that, the animal will be recovered for so and so days. So to find a references, have you heard about disease called Ebola? Where? Newspaper, mobile. Which continent suffered for Ebola? Africa. Is it not? So you just Google it. Can we find some solutions for such a disease, Ebola? Then we'll understand more on that, what traditional medicines can offer for, emerging disease. Then Ayurveda literatures, we are all human Ayurveda practitioners, we can find plenty of literatures from Ayurveda like Charaka and Sushruta to say, these all it has been explained, where animals has been showcased either for treatment or management or using for diagnosis. Different types of animal names mentioned, even for diagnosis, for treatment, for management, you can see. Even in Sushruta Samhita, we can find 225 types of animals names mentioned. It's not one or two. Domestic animals, pet animals, wild animals, every animal name it is mentioned. And there is a specific varga mentioned in the literatures which is called as a Mamsa varga, and use of Mamsa for human consumption. It is mentioned, and what are the properties, Dravya, Guna, Karmata of all the Mamsas explained in the literature. That means they were knowing about animals. Recently, with all the efforts combined from the veterinary universities and the Ministry of Ayush, Ministry of Animal Husbandry, last 10 years they started working, giving the importance for neglected area Paśuāyurveda, and they have come up with the new Ayurveda formulary last year. It is published by Ministry of Ayush. 4th part for veterinary, exclusively for veterinary, which is comprising of 43 formulations. 43 classical formulations for animal health. Published, but it is not placed for practice so far. How to go with that? To whom we have to give this formulation? Can we ask Ayurveda doctor to treat animal? Because they know the formulation. Can we ask veterinarian to treat? They don't know formulation. We know formulation, but we are not entitled to treat animal. Someone who is entitled, they don't know formulation. Published. It's with ministry now. And it's in public domain as well to get to know more insight into it. So 43 formulations been taken from different literatures, and it is mainly from Asti Ayurveda, that is elephant, Paśuāyurveda, and few from Ayurveda, cattle diseases. And the combinations starting from simple 6 to 7 herbs to 20 herbs combination, 40 herbs combination, it is been told. So you can see, I have put it, which is the reference and all those things, which adhyaya, we call it as, which adhikara, from under which context, which disease it is being used in Ayurveda. So, literatures of Paśuāyurveda. So once we know that, okay, it is really helping, it can be an alternative, it can be a global solution, from where we will get the knowledge? Can we put every health sector to be, in place for to get trained? No, it is not possible at all. Human resource, Then these are the literatures. If you own an animal, you can read the literature, try to understand the diagnostic part, treatment part, then you can be expert to treat your own animal. So you need not to depend on veterinarian, or you need not to depend on the modern drugs. That's our interest. So these are the literatures of Paśuāyurveda to understand, and different languages to say, and the publications and the author. And these are pure Sanskrit based literatures. You should know Sanskrit to read and understand. And some of the organization is translating into different languages. Particularly it has to be in English. It can be pan-Indian then. Then we can take it to local. And to say from that, many books are in Malayalam, because your forefathers have done a good job for you all. You can find Malayalam based literatures well for Ayurveda, Paśuāyurveda, and for Asti Ayurveda, because they were knowing, they were using, so they have written. Is it not? That's a process. Until unless if you are not an expert, you cannot write book. How many of you have written books in your own domain? With the expertise, is it not? Writing a book comes with the expertise. Otherwise, you cannot write. Writing an article itself will face a lot of challenges now. Writing a book means a lot of expertise has to come. So far, I was discussing with the classical Paśuāyurveda. That's a one sector, like us, trained in the university setup. Now the other sector Vaidyas you can see in the community, who see Nadi and give medicine for this disease. I think that is more prevalent in Kerala. Many Vaidyas are we can find, is it not? So who treat human, animal, everything. What is the relevance that? Can we take that also? Have you done enough work for that? Have you treated with those formulation? It's a question. The relevance, if I have to talk, then you can see this. Relevance of quinine, relevance of Artemisia, and relevance of our Phyllanthus amaras. From where it has come? It has come from the local health traditions of the community practices. One from Peru. You know Peru? Latin American country. If I say Machu Picchu, you may be knowing. One of the wonder of the world. Machu Picchu, is it not? That's from Peru. Latin American, Brazil, Bolivia, then Peru. Neighboring countries. That's the local health practice from that country has led to bring a drug for the modern industry with the compound, what we call it as quinine. Then, for what disease quinine is using? Anti-malarial drug, quinine is a choice, is it not? Till date, this is one of the compound using in the modern industry for treating malaria. Then comes the Artemisia annua, Chinese herb, which has led to use for arthritic-like condition, and artemisinin injection is still available in the market to treat polyarthritis, drug of choice. Then the third, Phyllanthus amaras, the common plant, you can see as a weed across. When you go to the farm, you can see. When you go to the road, you can see. That's a very native herb for India as well. But the Nobel Prize has been given to US person for the work, what is carried out in his lab, to say that how Phyllanthus amaras can address viral hepatitis. Are we not knowing that Phyllanthus amaras can be used condition like a jaundice? Enough. People give medicines from that. But still, we don't have support, we don't have zeal, we don't have encouragement to do such work in our laboratory to prove ourselves that this drug can help a condition called as hepatitis B, C, E, or you call any. Everything is being told as in Ayurveda as a Kamala, a variety. It's inclusive. So what I mean is, Not just the literature-based formulation, even the community-based formulations like local-led tradition or ethnoveterinary practices can lead for animal health management. That's what we did in last 15 years in the university. I'm going to share you plenty of experience now. So what we did, what is ethnoveterinary practices then? You go to any farmer, somehow he was knowing how to treat his own animal disease. Last with the 40 years of advent from the modern medicine, veterinarians have stopped to use that. Otherwise it would have been in a practice. You know, they were knowing if animal is fever, what they have to give as a owner of the animal. But with the name of paracetamol, we have taken everything from our own practices. So, ethnoveterinary is nothing but belief, knowledge, practice and the skill pertaining to animal health is called as ethnoveterinary medicine. Ethnoveterinary medicine of Kerala may not be the same Karnataka. Ethnoveterinary medicine of Karnataka may not be same as Odisha. It changes depending on the availability of the resources, depending on the availability of the incidence of the diseases, depending on the knowledge, the yukti of the Vaidya, change. That is ethnoveterinary. How do we standardize then? How can we make it as a pan-Indian first of all? Then how we can make a pan-global? It's a question. But we started doing that in the university for last 15 years and we documented nearly 441 formulations from 24 locations and 10 states. Continuously for 6 to 7 years we did in the university to document those knowledge system from the healers. Then out of the lot we got to know 353 are safe and efficacious. Then from that 24 formulation gone for field observational studies. Field observational studies prioritizing the incidence of the diseases. Then we have taken a task. Can we see the field trial on these formulations? See now, these 24 conditions have been placed by National Dairy Development Board. You know NDDB? How many of have a name of NDDB, National Dairy Development Board? No, not at all. You have to Google it now. National Dairy Development Board is a governing board which help in developing a dairy in India. You know Varghese Kurian sir? From which state he is? We all know. What was his contribution to the dairy development? He is the person who did the white revolution in India. Otherwise, we would have not been in this position to drink milk every day. With his approach only, we could establish the system called as cooperative societies in India. Otherwise, no. Many private people would have played a ploy here to say. So, National Dairy Development Board is a governing body which supports dairy development in India. With our collaborations for last 10 years, we could able to see the results of these 24 condition formulations and they are published in their website, they are published in the YouTube and you can see all these formulation in a video form in 14 Indian languages in YouTube to reach to every farmer. Let them start using this recipe as a first-hand knowledge so that we can reduce the load of drug in the animal products. That's their interest. You got it now? So, in that case, you can see the data and the efficacy rate. In the last column, I have put it here, starting from 83% and all those things. Is it not enough? If the formulation, which is easily available at the farmer home, in the kitchen, backyard, they can make their own formulation, they can treat the animal for 24 clinical conditions, which is nearly efficacious more than 70%, then what else you need? What is the percentage of recovery using antibiotics in animals? Do you have any idea? We don't have data at all for that. What the industry is saying, we have to blindly believe. Industry may say 100% working, sir. If I am using, if it didn't work, they'd never come. If I ask again, representative will not come. Sir, the data is given by company, we are giving. I don't know if it is not working in your case. I am not responsible. That means we don't have standard data to say that what is the percentage of recovery after using antibiotic for a particular clinical condition. But still we are using antibiotics. After treating, if it didn't work, then we may change the drug, but we don't change the system of medicine. That is our practice. So to say, I have one more video, small again. Is it okay now if I show a video? You people don't talk. You're all faculties, no? You talk much with your students. Yes or no? Yes. Say yes at least. I'll show one more video, then I'll come back to the class. Are you following me? Is it worth to sit in my class? Well, thank you.